Location. We're here at Cutie Con 2013, and I'm here with Brynna Drummond and Brynna Drummond, right? Brynna.
Sort of like if you said Bryn, like you've heard the name Bryn before. Brynna. There you go.
Sorry about
Strange name.
I didn't want to make it Brynna because I loved my name so much, so we changed it a little bit. Everyone gets it wrong. They're like, "Is it Bryn? Is it Brianna? Brenda? So yeah, it's she gets the gamut. So maybe we should have made it simpler, but you're stuck with it now.
All right, we'll start with you, Brian. It's been way too long since we last spoke with you on Anime North, long ago in Toronto.
Yeah.
How do you enjoy these pony conventions as opposed to anime conventions?
They're different. I hadn't done conventions for a long time. As I was saying, I'm on a lot of shows and pretty swamped with that and really enjoy doing the work. So getting away on the weekends, and sometimes you have to take a Friday and the Monday to try and make a convention work, so it doesn't happen that often. I did just do Fan Expo in Vancouver because I didn't have to travel. I was able to do Fan Expo, which was a big con. A lot of people were excited to see me, and but that's sort of sci-fi, animation, everything. So it was pretty excited. But the anime fans, this is my very first pony con. So it being only a few hours in, I don't have a ton to compare to yet. But great people so far, super nice group. And I've always found that with the anime cons as well. I just know with this one, my feeling would be that the viewers and the people watching the show are going to be a little different than anime, because anime has such a range from Pokemon to the dark stuff like Death Note that I did, to even darker, to yaoi, to the real wild stuff, right? It's got a real big range that feed off of that genre, whereas this is really new cultural thing that's going on, and it's really based mostly around one show. It is one show, and not even the past incarnations of the show. It's just this incarnation of it is really what it's tied around. So it's different. I probably think I'd have to do a couple to really say what the big difference is, but it's still just people passionate about a certain type of animation, and I dig that. It's great.
Okay. How did you first start in the world of voice acting?
Definitely from my dad. So if he would get an audition for something, and in the same series they might be looking for a little girl voice, then they would send me in as well, and kind of after that it kept going and I get more and more auditions, and it's been lots of fun. I love getting auditions. Yeah.
Brian, do you always feel that you would be a voice actor since your days at Studio 58?
Actually, not at all. I always thought I'd probably work in the stage. I loved, because it's mostly theater training when I was doing it back there in the late 80s and early 90s. There were guys there that I remember when I was in school that did hilarious voices and funny stuff that I thought would do that. And I didn't really think of this as an industry, because when I grew up watching animation, I didn't care who did the voices. I'm like, that's the Flintstones, that's Scooby-Doo, whatever. Like, I didn't go, who is that guy who does Scooby and who does Fred? And like, it didn't cross my mind, and I wasn't that interested to know more about it, and didn't think that it'd be something that I wanted to do. But not until I was out for a couple of years, and I heard talk of Mainframe was doing sort of an animation workshop about this show they were bringing to town called Reboot. And I was like, that sounds kind of interesting, animation and doing the voices. And I went to this workshop they did. It wasn't really training people, but it was just telling everybody about what they were planning to do in the city. And I was really pretty excited about it, and I thought I wanted to find out more. And I actually ended up auditioning for Reboot. I didn't get a role in it, but I got my very next audition on G.I. Joe Extreme. I landed a lead, and Sue Blue was directing it, one of the greatest animation directors in my mind. She's been around for years in L.A. and was directing that G.I. Joe series, and taught me a ton, because I was on the show with Gary Chalk and Ian Corlett and Matt Hill, like a lot of big names that had been doing stuff for a few years before me. So from then on, I went, this is a blast. These guys are so much fun. I want to do more. Yeah.
And for you, when seeing your father work on voiceover roles, was this something that you saw yourself doing as a career?
Definitely not right away, but I definitely admired what my dad did, and I thought, like, it'd be so cool to have that much courage and confidence to just be able to put on a voice, and it'd be so much fun. And so, after I got more auditions, and then I started to do what he was doing and get more confidence, and yeah, I've been, yeah.
What have been some of your most memorable voiceover roles through the years?
Well, obviously the first anime role I got, getting Vegeta in Dragon Ball Z, and starting off and even continuing through with that through the years. It's gone on for a long time, and I'm very recognized for it, especially for the meme, the over 9,000 thing that's been around forever. But that's right up there. Recently, it's been very exciting because I've been playing Wolverine for Marvel for a number of new animated motion comic series that they're doing that go direct to DVD, and we've done a ton of those, like Wolverine versus Hulk and Evolution, and and to play that role it's been a thrill for me. Dr. Claw in a reincarnated Inspector Gadget series. There's so many roles that I can think of. Even some of the new stuff that I'm doing right now. That Vancouver's really a hub right now for a ton of new stuff. Nerdcore's doing so much and is becoming really strong throughout the world with their programming, what they're doing. Max Steel, which is out there right now, which I play a number of roles on. So, but some of the top ones I'd have to say would be Vegeta would be a big one. Death Note for anime as well. I love playing Ryuk in that series, and obviously it's been a blast to even just be a part of this My Little Pony phenomenon, because the people I work with on it, I've worked with them on tons of other shows. So it's quite fun for me to know them. They're just people I work with, and to see them sort of raised up on a pedestal as if they've changed somehow, whereas I still just know it's just Tabitha and Andrea and Ashley. I'm doing shows with those guys forever, but the show they've been on has had great success, and that's what everybody wishes as a performer, that something you do really gets some great recognition, and it's just doing fantastic for Hasbro as their #1 property. So it's fun to just have a piece of that and be a part of some of the extra characters that bring the show to life.
And in your young career, have you had some memorable voiceover roles?
I would say so. Definitely, Babseed is a really big one. I think it's one of the biggest ones because My Little Pony, this new series, is like so huge. So being able to be on that series was really exciting. So and definitely that character.
But on Dinosaur Train, was that?
Dinosaur Train as well, yeah. I played Daphne, a little dinosaur, so that was also pretty fun too. And after that, I think I got more auditions from that as well. So yeah.
Currently a lead on another show she's not allowed to talk about yet, but at some point she'll be allowed.
When you worked on the series Inuyasha, what was it like squaring off against Richard Cox back there? In this case, Inuyasha.
Well, that was great to get a piece of that series as well, because that was one that just got legs and was doing phenomenal well. And I played a couple of different roles in it. Ren Kotsu was probably one that had to square off and against Richard. But it's always different for the anime roles because we dub those shows, so we never really get to sit in the studio and square off against them. You got to do your own thing and wave as he walks down the hallway and leaves and I walk in. So it's a very different environment. That's not near as fun. I'm on a new show right now, which also I don't think I'm allowed to talk about yet, where I play a regular lead on it, and Richard is playing one of the leads on it, which he's phenomenal in. I hope it does really well, but he's hilarious. But it's a comedy with Sam Vincent as well. But that is much more fun to me, to just be in the room with those guys, and then you're playing off each other. So he throws a line out one way, and then you can deliver yours some different way, as opposed to being stuck with that's how he delivered his, and I got to react off of that. We can play around so much more, but it's fun.
Okay. You mentioned Babseeds. What was it like to do the role of Babseeds in My Little Pony?
I thought it was lots and lots of fun. But also her episode is about her being bullied. So I thought it was a really interesting character to play because it probably taught a lot of kids something. And seeing as Babseed kind of stood up for herself in the end, it really made kids, if they were bullied, really like it as well, and think, oh, maybe I could do that too. So I really liked being able to be kind of a role model-ish character.
You were a little nervous, though, probably off the top.
Definitely.
I know, because the show at that point, even though season 2 was really gaining some momentum, and then you landed that role, and we're all like, oh, I have to go in with all them. And when you do come in and do a guest on the show as a new performer, it's sometimes probably a little nerve-wracking because the show has really got, everyone else is, they're really confident with playing all their roles, and you're coming in to try and be at the same energy. So I know when we were working on stuff with her to help her out with the New York accent and get those bits and pieces down, you were nervous about it at first, but when you realize when you are in the studio with those girls, and all of them, they're just they're great. You know, you've met them all before probably, and they're just a great bunch of people that make anybody feel at home when you're in the studio with them. So, and I think that's what she came out of it going, that was so fun. Even though she was nervous off the top, I know she came out, I love that. And then they ended up doing another episode where she came back. So
yeah, because normally it's just me in the little booth, and like the engineer director on the other side. So it's normally just me. So when I had when I got the role of Babseed, and then I knew I was going to be in a room with a whole bunch of other cast members, I was really nervous. But then I realized it was so much fun, and I miss having other people. Now I'm just still alone. But yeah, it was fun.
I got a follow-up question for you. How was it working on My Little Pony, knowing that your father was also part of the series? Is this the first time you guys were in a series together?
I think it is.
We were on Dinosaur Train together because when she played Daphne on Dinosaur Train, I was in the same episode with her. I was in one of those episodes because I play a number of dinosaurs on that show, and she was in one with me. You did one on your own, your main episode, but then you came back as that character, and we were in the episode together. We had to sing like a neighborhood song or something too, and it was it's a preschool show. So yeah, so that was our first time I think together, and we were actually worked in the same room at the same time on that show.
But is it pretty cool to work on a series with your dad?
Yeah, definitely. Don't listen to it. I think it's fun. You may disagree with me, but yeah.
We can't curse when she's in there. We are foul people when the children are on the show. We're on our best behavior.
Sure.
This one's for both of you. Let's see. Do you have a theory on how and why the new series of My Little Pony branched out and became so popular, and the series speaks to those of many ages?
No one has a theory on that. Even Hasbro can't figure that one out. Like, no, they're still scratching their heads in a boardroom right now, going, how did this happen? I'm sure they're thrilled, but certainly the Brony side of it, anyhow, that's probably baffling to all of them, right? And as baffling as it is to me, but then again, it could be as baffling to me why anyone would be such a massive fan of Death Note or such a massive fan of Digimon or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or, whatever it may be, the Full Metal Alchemist. I mean, certain ones everyone is drawn to something for some reason. Ed, and Eddie, these different ones that just grasp a certain person. And sometimes it's a time in your life that you just got a kick out of what you're watching and you're drawn into it. Like I remember, sometimes even just a tune from a show that I remember really getting hooked into watching a series of. I'll hear it, they'll be playing it on the radio or doing something retro, and I'll be like, and it takes you right back to a time in your life. And I think that's what it is for these people. You're at a certain point in your life where something came together, and it worked for you to watch it, the feelings that you got from it, and it all worked, and somehow that just worked for everybody. Right.
Any theory for you, or any thoughts on the Brony community?
You've probably watched a few more episodes than me. What do you get out of it when you watch it? That's different than the old My Little Pony stuff.
I don't know. I can't think of what it is. I really like the new series, but in terms of bronies and stuff, I guess people just have their own interests, I guess. And
the show's certainly sharper. It's great to look at. There's something that jumps off you to look at it. So it's visually appealing. Some shows aren't. It's well written. Most of the stories are really well written. So I mean, all those are going to combine. It's extremely well voice performed. I know. But the voice performances by all the leads, they do a great job on that. And when they tie it all together, it's just a fun little 22 minutes every time.
Now, you worked on one of the previous shows. You were the voice of Spike in one of the previous incarnations. How was the show changed? Obviously, the artwork was quite a big difference, correct?
Yeah, very different. Like so much of the other series was still really based in the it's about dressing up and makeup and looking and princessy stuff. I had to do. There was a musical that went on the road, like a huge show with people in giant pony suits and a giant Spike outfit, and all of us went in. I had to do all the singing for Spike and all of his, which they played over recording, and guys were running around the suits while they played that stuff and flapping their fake pony mouths and hooves and stuff. It was quite something. You'll have to look it up. I don't know. Have you ever seen it online? You can find it, the live version of it. And even the sort of movies and the episodes of that show that we did were very different. It was like that was called the Pony Princess Promenade, and the other one was about having tea and stuff. It was really about someone still had it that this is it's a girly thing and let's just do girly stuff. There was nothing, not as much past that, and it still had its success because it's about combing out their manes and how beautiful their colors are, the pastels, but this one, it's obviously just allowed so many more characters for people to it, and there was never a boy pony either. That didn't exist. There was all girls and Spike and he was sort of an old, crusty sounding, almost British sounding dragon, very different, right? And he was the only boy that was in the series, so it was kind of like Smurfette and the Smurfs. It was the one little guy with these ponies that he had to teach them how to be, well mannered and girly. So it's very different now, very different.
Now, for you, we have a lead role coming up that you can't talk about the series, but is there a different mindset for you when you have a lead role as opposed to a supporting role in a series?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I guess it's. I don't know how to explain. I don't know how to say.
I feel like there's probably efforts and there's a little more consistency to it, and that you get to know the character, because when you do get called back regularly, you start you know who he is.
More about that character's perspective and why the character's doing what it's doing, rather than if it's a side character, you don't think quite as much. It's more just the voice. But I guess if it's the main character, you're thinking a bit more about that.
And you have all the history of what they've done, because you'll remember, in that last episode he did that, exactly. And this one he did that. Whereas with Babs, you have one shot to try and pull it together, and then they threw her back in, and you'd probably feel even more comfortable if you'd have more and more opportunity to have her appear. But she's not good. She's got to stay in Manhattan. I guess she's got a job. Maybe she's working in a burger joint or something.
Now, do you know when the series, for your fans, when it'll be? You guys will be able to talk about it when it'll be released? I
don't actually know. I've been asking the director, but I'm not sure if they know yet, or if they know but they're not telling me. But I'm really excited to
it's a dubbed,
be able to talk
a dubbed series, a new dubbed one. But it's sometimes they hold their cards pretty close. Like we're not allowed to say anything when you sign NDAs until they say, here's a release date. It's now online. You can talk about you're that character or who you are. Yeah.
Okay. This one's for both of you. Any current or upcoming projects that you guys can talk about this time?
Wow. Now this is where I'd be careful, because I go, which ones are the? Yeah. I'm trying to figure out which ones have been the most current ones that have been worked on. Well, I know there's lots of stuff with Wolverine that is out there, and is even in production. But I know it's knowledge that that's being worked on. But I'm trying to think of series ones that I'm allowed to talk about that haven't aired yet. I know Max Steel just came out, so that one we can talk about, because it just last month, I think, was the first time it began to air, and is doing really well. So far, it seems to be a big hit for them. Yeah, I should have probably written that down, because we all have sort of, there's kind of dates on things about when you're allowed, and then I'll go, yep, I wasn't quite at the date for when I'm allowed to, because sometimes you could be done a full season of 26, finished it, and 6 months later you're still not allowed to talk about it. You feel like, oh yeah, that must be out. Oh no, they haven't sold that to a U.S. market yet, and I'm talking about, it's difficult, yeah.
Because I've already finished them.
Yeah, she's completely finished that other series that she was working on, or full season of it, and they haven't said anything yet, given her the word on whether they're allowed to say anything. Yeah.
Anything else new for you, or just looking forward to them finally saying you could talk about this lead role?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm just looking forward to being able to talk about that.
Yeah, there was another lead one that you went out for the same company, that feature film one that was shortlisted. Remember, some of you guys were shortlisted, but not something that's been cast yet. So they're still going out there and having some fun.
Lots of auditions and stuff too, for sure.
Competition is tough in our town, because for lots of shows, especially when it's really high comedy based, they'll go with an older actress to do a young girl's voice, and lots of times they can really pull it off well. Obviously, like the Tabithas and Ashley Ball, and even they can do young boy voices and stuff too. So only on certain shows where they say no, we want an actual girl to do this. That's when they, kids like my youngest, Ashlyn and Brynna, have an opportunity to read for those. A lot of times I see, oh look, this one's a 12-year-old girl, and then it'll even say anything, adults only to read for it. And then you see the context of the writing, and it's really based on comic timing, and plus they want the record schedule to be easy enough. They're not dealing with kids' school and stuff like that. They're like, we record whenever we want, and we don't have to say no, they're not available. They have midterms this week. It's they don't have to deal with that with adults.
Is there anything you guys wish to say to your fans? I know you have quite a bit with the many series, and you have quite a bit of My Little Pony fans with Babs Seed. So, anything you wish to say to your fans?
Well, I would just say, all I could say, and so I usually end up writing it on so many different things, is thanks for watching, because without people that love, because it's sort of like we're fans too. We love doing it. We just happen to be on the other side a little bit. We love doing it. We love watching it. It was funny when I'm up in my room, I'm flipping through about 50 channels and dead tired because of the red eye. And the channel I stop at and I'm watching is Cartoon Network. I'm like, I'm all the choices of stuff to do, and I'm watching Cartoon Network. And then we both fall asleep up there watching SpongeBob. So I mean, it's like, it's bizarre that it is to tend to be what we're attracted to. And he's in a family, when it comes for a new animated feature, it tends to be what we're drawn to. Lots of times go see first, but we rule the world, don't we? Don't we, animation fans? When you think about, I mean, as far as entertainment, it used to be this kind of stuff was such a subculture, but when you see where it sits now within the entertainment industry globally, and especially where movies based off comics are where all the money is made, you just see the billions that are made, and the gaming industry, this is the ground force of all of it, right? And we just happen to be a part of it, as much a part of it as you are as an interviewer. So we'll all keep up the good work. That's what.
And would you like to say something to your fans of My Little Pony and Babs Seed?
Definitely thank you for watching, and I didn't know my character was so loved. I feel so happy.
She wasn't when she first showed up. Oh no, yeah, it was like bad news.
Yeah, I know. I only had 2 episodes, but I don't know. Maybe it's just the storyline of her, and maybe some people can relate. But as well as other characters from My Little Pony goes, like I think everyone really relates to them and really likes them, and so thank you for everyone for watching. I guess.
Okay. Thank you both for your time, and enjoy the rest of Cutie Mark Con.
All right. Take care. Bye.